So welcome to another tasting table. We've got some fun stuff to taste today, and we have Scott to help us taste.
Hello.
So, yeah, and some of these things are like first-time fruit for us. This, I'm really not sure what it is. I grafted something in an area a long time ago, and I can tell you approximately where I got this fruit. But I'm not sure what it is, so I'm hoping that when we taste it, we can decide what it is. So that's one of them. And we've got this, which looks like a Bailey's Marvel, and we have one of our first cac fruit. I think this might have been a drop, it seems, so we only have half of a cac to taste. Then we have a Ryan drop from this morning. And, you know, Ryan, we're really not picking Ryan, but apparently we missed one. Last year we had 2 crops on that tree, and this year the first flowers that, well, almost all of the first flowers did not produce fruit. So the fruit that we get will be from the second bloom of Ryan. So this one, I don't know. It might have been just one of the first flowers that actually made it. And then we have Juliette. And this is another thing that is interesting. I'm not sure if this is a good representation of the particular fruit, because this is a first-time fruit for me.
Oh.
And this particular fruit looked like it was ready to pick, but it was in a big cluster of fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing that if I had thinned that fruit, if I had seen it at the appropriate time and thinned it, this would be a lot bigger. Mm-hmm. But hopefully it will give us some clue as far as its heritage. So anyway, let's get started. This one, this particular unknown fruit will be our first. And yeah, it's a rather large fruit. I would say that it's close to 2 pounds. So here we go.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's good.
That's really good.
I don't know what it is, but it's good. Does it give you a clue? I mean, the shape is sort of unusual.
Mm-hmm.
It's very soft. You know, it actually is somewhat close to the shape of Ryan, but it's not the same skin. I don't know what it is. Except for good.
Well, it's got a very distinct orange flavor to me. But it's a really, really good fruit. Seacrest on a very good day.
But it's definitely not Seacrest. It's got different skin, a different shape.
Wow, that's really, really nice.
So you think we should cut it down, is what you're saying?
I think you should cut some branches off and make more trees.
This is now going to be the Scott mango. I mean, I wouldn't object to having it
No, that's
named after me.
that's a very nice fruit.
Well, I guess we'll go over here to Ryan because
Do you get a lot of orange on that?
yeah, and the consistency of the fruit, the texture is great too.
Yeah.
You know, not that I object to very many mangoes on the basis of texture, because I think generally mango texture is great.
Yeah.
It varies from fruit to fruit, but it's you know, obviously soft. I mean, this the skin seems to be thin, and but you know, it's not really like a carry consistency.
No.
You know, I have sort of a hard time placing it. Yeah, I guess possibly the Seacrest consistency, but just on the texture is what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think that's pretty close. The flavor is in the same profile, but it's Seacrest multiplied in kind of the orange department. I think if Seacrest had a whole lot more orange flavor. Not that Seacrest is inferior, it's just a different flavor profile other than the orange. That's a beautiful fruit.
So these slices are going to serve as several meals. Oops. So, well, I'm just fine. This is Ryan,
Kinda large,
and this
yeah.
was the drop, as I just said. But this, on the good side, we had a little bit of the bruising creep over from the drop side, so we know how to take care of that. That's what knives are for.
Thank you very much.
So it seems like you gave you the one that with more of a bruise. Yes, I did. So sorry about that.
There's
Scott.
a pattern emerging.
Yeah, there's more. This big fruit, so you definitely can have more.
This is a very pleasant fruit.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed this one. Again, it's a light, bright. I think is probably a better descriptor. It's a brighter fruit, which I enjoy. It's got a fair amount of resin, which I like a lot. And the texture is excellent. A little bit of coconutty in there.
Yeah, I mean it's part of the flavor is somewhat reminiscent of curry, but not overwhelming. It's
No.
it's more of a subtle thing, but a lot of things are good about that. I could pour.
Yeah. Carrie, I think, is in that same kind of flavor profile, but again, this is a lot brighter. I don't know why I always think of Angie when I think of bright fruits, but that's kind of where I put in this one too.
Yeah, and again, huge fruit.
Yeah. That's a meal for 20.
Yeah, this was a drop, and when you get a ripe fruit dropping from the tree, especially of this size, this is like Jell-O right in this area, on the other side of the fruit, and then going into your slice.
Amazingly, it stops right after that slice.
But it's
Just know there was a wall there.
yeah. When you pick it right, you get the right consistency all the way through, and definitely has a lot of fans. I guess the only reason why it's not like taking over South Florida mangoes is that it doesn't fruit great in every location. It does for us. Of course, we missed the first fruit from the first bloom, but we've got fruit coming up. So this is another first timer for us. And this one I actually know what it is.
So do I.
And it is cack. And it also is a drop because we care. So, but
serve.
yeah, I can feel that there's a section in here that should be fine. And I grafted cack on 2 trees about 4 years ago. Maybe it's not even that long.
Wow.
But this is the first of the harvest.
It's hard to argue with that.
Near the top of the slice, the top of the fruit, next to the skin, that's pretty darn good.
It is. I think it might be a day late. I've had cack in the past that were a lot what am I looking for? The balance was a little bit different, a little bit more on the sour side. This is an excellent fruit. But it's one of those, the flavor changes, I guess with all mangoes it does, but
it's more quickly than others.
it becomes more sweet, and I think that's, a lot of people prefer that.
Yes, no fiber, and
It's a very good fruit. fruit.
Yeah, so that it's more, well, this is starting to form a root in the top. I'll cut that out so that word doesn't get out that I mistreat our tasters.
It's a very productive fruit. It's rooting as you eat it.
Yeah. So, yeah, the top of the fruits might give us more of a flavor, that traditional flavor.
Yeah, this is more of what I think of as a cack flavor. Cack is a really good fruit, in my estimation. I think
it's sweet.
It's
it has a floral component to it, but then it's got the resin also.
Yeah, which I think is cack Vietnamese? I think it is, right? I think it's a Vietnamese fruit, and that flavor component, the resin, kind of surprises me because it's not really standard for a Asian variety at that time. Wow. Beautiful fruit. Thank you.
Yeah, this is definitely our large fruit tasting here, and then we have the two little ones as the caboose. So we've got a nice looking, I suspect Bailey's marble.
I think it's the best.
Oh, it's
You think it's best?
The name is written on it somewhere. It's just the.
Well, that's a giveaway.
Oh yeah,
It
there
sure
you go,
is. Yeah.
right here. So here we go.
All right.
All right, this is one of the few because I trimmed our main tree back. What was it? Yeah, last year. So no fruit this year on the main tree. So
Ooh.
this is just from other areas that I've grafted.
So this is like
This
the
is
mini crops from elsewhere.
this is the treasured fruit. I mean, I think I've had one or two other ones, and that's about it.
Wow.
This is it would have been good if you'd come over about 2 days ago, Scott.
This is about perfect for me.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit more mild. There's usually a little bit more of acid component to it, and this has gone to just sweet. So I prefer it when it's a little bit younger.
I'd be interested to taste it at that level. This is very pleasant.
Yeah, and that's,
This is a very
I started at the bottom of the slice. I'm working my way up to what's the top
you're
of the
gonna
fruit, and so it gets more flavorful as you it's like a harmonica, Those notes over here, those are the best.
You're working your way up to the top. That's a very good fruit. That's best.
Yeah, that's a variety that occurred here, and I, of course, don't believe in a best variety because everybody has their own taste buds and different seasons and everything of the fruit, and somehow that turned out to be named best, and so it's sort of ironic. It was in the out of the mango hedge that I planted in the back of the property. It was the best fruit out of that hedge. And
out of the row, sure.
And so that's how it, we kept getting saying, it's their best and whatever. And so anyway, that's the best mango now.
It's a very good mango. It's very good. What do we have here?
This looks like Juliette, although I really didn't do a very good job of writing the end of Juliette. and this is a drop, so I'll take your slice right
Perfect.
out of it.
right from the bottom. That's going to be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer that kind of less
something
togetherness. Yeah,
right,
more jello-y.
Yeah. I don't want to use your drama.
No, I mean, why do that when I can do it with a straw? It's good.
So because this probably dropped straight down from the tree, I'm just not even going to slice anything out of the bottom. It feels like that pretty much the bottom of the fruit is jello. So we'll start halfway up, see how it goes. So Juliette is a cross between Julie and Gary mango, and so so many people prefer. Oops, there's a little bit of looks like a possible Go and go trim this part after me. But anyway, Juliette has a smoother flavor, I think. Well, you can taste for yourself than Julie compared.
I get a lot of Julie.
Yeah, it definitely tastes like Julie.
Yeah,
but it's got a little bit of smoothness and possibly a little sweeter and.
Yeah, I would say it's as sweet, if not more sweet, than Julie. It's certainly in that kind of very rich, sweet profile. I don't pick up Gary at all.
Well, I think Gary just, adds the
Consistency.
sweetness to it.
Okay.
And fortunately, also, it has a slightly different season than Julie.
Well, that's nice.
So
Yeah.
it's a little bit later, and we don't have, the Julie that I eat these days is usually stuff that I don't see on the tree, but it's so much easier to find it on the ground. But
You still get to eat half of
but
it.
the Juliette is, a lot of it is hanging in full sight. So
It's a very good fruit.
yeah.
I mean, I think if it's alternate season or alternate time of the season to Julie, it's a really good
yeah,
kind of Julie number 2.
yeah, and as I say, the big Julie fans that actually prefer the Juliette. Although you can't. If you're from Jamaica, you can't tell your friends that you prefer Juliette to Julie because that's.
But I think if you were to present a slice of Julie and a slice of Juliette side by side without telling people that they were different mangoes, I'm not sure people would really know. And that's not a bad thing. They're that close.
Yeah.
And the consistency is different for sure, but the flavor, it's pretty much spot on, I think.
So here is our final victim or whatever of the tasting. And this is from a seedling that I planted in 2015, and then to accelerate the fruiting of it, I grafted a scion from that seedling onto an existing plant. So, now it's basically 5 years later because of, you have to wait for the seeds to sprout and such. This is a very small fruit, so that's not in its favor because people usually like something that's a little bit bigger. But it was hanging in a big cluster of fruit, so I'm thinking that if I thinned that cluster, this would be a bigger fruit. And it also seems like it's not quite totally ripe. But
that might be a good thing.
But we're going
That
to
might
try
be a
it
good thing.
anyway because you're here now.
Well, and I do like sour, so
And
it
it
might be.
Yeah, and this is definitely
Might be the best
not a
thing ever.
drop, so that's a plus for you too.
Check that one off. First on the list.
Yeah, you really do care. So there you go.
Why, thank you. All right, this is mystery fruit number 1.
Well, it's got some. I'm tasting a familiar flavor,
I am too,
and I'm trying to place it.
and it's not the turpentine flavor.
No. Yeah, I had a theory that just from the skin and the way it was coloring, that it was going to be a relative of cotton candy. But from the taste, I'm like, no, I don't think so.
No.
And I'm not able to put my finger on the flavor.
There's an almost a savoriness to it in a pleasant way. I like the resin. When I talk about resins, there's so many different flavors of resin. This is one that I really like.
Would you? Did you taste the guava mango the other day?
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah.
remind you of that?
Yes.
Okay.
It actually, yeah. Guava wasn't one that I was familiar with at all, but you're right. It does kind of bring back the same kind of resiny flavor that I liked in that one. It's a good fruit. I'd like to see one. It might be interesting. In a way, I hate to say this, but it's not a bad thing. It reminds me kind of, and maybe just because of the size and the color of turpentine. But obviously, it's not a stringy little thing that you have to suck the juice out of.
I like the flavor of turpentine.
I do too.
It's, whoever was on the naming committee just did not do that justice.
Yeah, they took the day off.
Yeah, it is high in fiber, but it's a delicious fruit.
I think the flavor is actually somewhat similar.
Well, I think of this as not as strong of a flavor, and certainly not as there's more acid flavor in the turpentine.
Yeah, and you get to eat it versus kind of drink it out of the fruit, which is kind of nice too.
Take it out of your teeth later.
Yeah. This is certainly a much smoother mango. It's nice. It's nice. That's definitely one to keep around, I think.
Okay, so we'll evaluate that further as time goes by.
What are your thoughts?
Let's get to the ranking part of this job. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it.
Oh boy!
And there are a lot of different flavors here.
Yes.
We had best and cack, which we tasted the top part of the fruit, and that was the part that apparently wasn't damaged. Sometimes I don't remember which ones were drops and which ones were not. That one seems like it was a drop. And then we had this, that mystery fruit. I don't know if that's already a named variety or what. Yep, that was one. And then we had the Ryan drop. We had Juliette, and then we had the new mystery mango. So I did the introduction, so it's your turn to talk.
Oh, okay. Well, I think my rating would be mystery mango number 1 would be my first choice.
So this rather large fruit, it had a strong orange component to it.
And that
orange flavor.
Really nice balance of sweet and sour. Best would be number 2.
So that was not the best, but that's that was a good best.
Yeah, Ryan would be number 3,
which is very large fruit.
Cack would be number 4,
and that's going by the top of the fruit, and then what you remember of previous fruit that you tasted.
No, just on that fruit. I'm trying not to remember the other fruits.
Okay. We're not bringing your past into it.
But it's not. It's not a day early, and I think that's with CAC for me previously. Even though I said I'm not bringing previous experience into it,
well, it's good
that was kind of important because it was more on the sour. It's like Maha Chinook. If you get it a day late, it kind of has that fishy taste. Whereas I had one the other day. It wasn't very nice. And then Juliette, I think, would be number 5, and the new one. I want to put it higher in the ranking,
but we just don't know. It's just a small fruit.
Yeah,
the first one. And
it's a really interesting flavor. I mean, it's unlike anything else in this grouping. I like the consistency. I like the resin flavor. It's bothersome to me that I can't pinpoint what I think it reminds me of. So many things. I don't know. There's my ranking.
Okay, great. Well, they were all quite tasty. So we definitely have to keep on tasting. See how the next group fares, right?
Thank you.